The Oculus Quest really feels like next generation VR. My review is up next.
Oh, Jesus.
So I have the PlayStation VR at home and a number of games to play on it. The only problem is I rarely, if ever, pull it out. And you want to have one guess why? Well, with all the setup, from the PlayStation camera, for tracking me in space, to the wires that connect my headset to the PS4, it's just enough friction for me to talk myself out of it and maybe play something else instead. It's just not as easy as, say, picking up a controller and playing something on my big screen TV. So the thought of bringing the Oculus Rift or the HTC Vive into my home, along with a powerhouse PC to run it on, never really sounded that appealing to me. Mobile VR, as you see here, like Google's Daydream, Samsung's Gear VR, and even the Oculus Go, are nice baby steps towards a pick-up-and-go experience, but just not powerful enough for my liking. I kind of got bored of them quickly. What I've always wanted is a self-contained, fully capable VR rig that takes little to no setup and provides an expansive VR experience where I can move around the room freely and talk about checking all the boxes. The new Oculus Quest is out. Let me tell you right now, it's something special, which is not to say that I don't have some minor quibbles about it, but in my experience, this is the level of convenience and power that I feel has the potential to actually move VR more into the mainstream. So, what makes the Quest so special? First of all, the specs. The Quest has two 1440 by 1600 OLED displays, one for each eye, of course, and that's actually an upgrade in resolution from the higher cost Oculus Rift setup, and everything just looks sharp in there. Also, it has a 72 Hertz refresh rate, which to my eyes personally was perfectly sufficient. I never felt sick with movement. I know some people can be kind of sensitive to lower refresh rates, so keep that in mind. The device is powered underneath by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor. Now, 2 years ago, this was the top-of-the-line mobile phone processor in the Android space, which might give you some pause, but really doesn't seem to hold the Quest back, in my opinion. Also, 4 gigs of RAM in here to power it. The Quest can be purchased with 64 gigs of storage. That's going to run around $400, or 128 gigs of onboard storage running $500, and that's what I have on this unit here. And personally, I recommend shelling out the extra money. You'll get double the storage if you can. You'll want to do that up front so you can install all of those games on it. Battery-wise, there's enough power here to run you around 2 hours of solid gameplay. That's what Oculus touts, and I absolutely ran into that upper limit repeatedly on my own. If that's not enough for you, Oculus includes a 20-foot USB-C cable that can be plugged in to provide power while you play. Yes, it means you'll be wired once again, but it's better than having to come back to reality. The headset itself is designed to be easy to use with little setup needed. It looks nice, but I would say it's a bit heavy, definitely heavier than the Rift headset, primarily because all of the technology is embedded inside the headset itself. The straps on top and the sides have ample adjustment capabilities, allowing for cinching and pivoting in many different directions. I will say that I could never quite get the absolute perfect fit for my face. I felt like I got it to the good enough point, but never the perfect point. And I could never eliminate just a small amount of light leakage coming up from the nose bridge, but I wouldn't say that was a total deal breaker at all. Comfort-wise, there's no denying that the headset is pretty heavy when you're wearing it, especially after 2 solid hours of play. I definitely felt it, and mainly in the way of maybe a slight headache or a hot, sweaty face, so keep that in mind. Now, underneath is a volume rocker that drives both the onboard stereo speakers as well as headphone ports on either side. You can plug those in, and then that volume rocker adjusts the volume there. The onboard speakers are a very nice touch. They make this more of a pick-up-and-go solution, which I liked. And on the other side of the bottom is a slider that helps bring content into better focus. It shifts those lenses around slightly. It's best to slide that around, lock in the best sharpness for your eyes. You'll enjoy your experience a little more when you do that. Now, these cameras on front are how the inside-out positional tracking happens on the device. That's going to save you from having to install cameras throughout the room. This is where the Quest goes from neat to magical. When powering up the device to use in a given room, the Quest actually enters what's called Guardian mode. This is where you literally draw in the space in your room that is safe, playable area. You do this with the included motion controllers, which I'm going to talk about in a second. The cameras show a black and white 3D pass-through, and you literally draw that area that surrounds you. And this way, while you're locked away in VR land, whenever you get close to the border of your Guardian space, maybe you're coming close to a wall, a digital grid is going to appear inside that deters you from leaving your playable space. If you start to move beyond it, it's kind of interesting. The real world starts to fade into view. And the rationale there is, of course, that's going to keep you from slamming into that wall. It's incredibly well executed, and the more I use the Quest, the more I learn to trust those invisible boundaries. It's super liberating. This episode of Hands on Tech is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Stealing data from unsuspecting people on public Wi-Fi is one of the simplest and cheapest ways for hackers to make money. It costs less than $7 per month and comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Their apps use powerful encryption to secure your data. Just download the app, click to connect, and you're protected. Protect your online activity today and find out how you can get 3 extra months free with a 1-year package at expressvpn.com/hot. That's expressvpn.com/hot, expressvpn.com/hot. Now, the controllers are, in a word, awesome. These are the same controllers that shipped with the new premium Rift S setup, so this isn't some trimmed down mobile version. These are the real deal. The controllers track nearly perfectly in tandem with the headset. I rarely encountered tracking issues when my hands left the viewable space of the camera on the headset. They do take AA batteries, so I'd suggest having a few backup batteries for each controller on hand, but they seem to last a long time. Battery depletion was never an issue that I encountered with the controllers. As for the control options, you get the pointer finger trigger, as well as the side trigger for maybe when you want to pick something up inside the game, and the 2 face buttons on top, as well as the analog stick on top, which is pressable, so you can use that as another button. You also have these wrist straps, of course, to keep you from dropping or tossing the controllers across the room in a moment of in-game panic. As for the games, the library is pretty decent at launch. There's definitely room to grow, though. I played through some of the demos included on the device. Creed was one of the standouts there. Stepping into the boxing ring in VR is an experience to behold. A little intimidating, I'll just say that. I also played Beat Saber, and this is the game that I've heard the most about as being a milestone marker for the capabilities of the Quest. It did not disappoint because, well, who doesn't love wielding lightsabers to dance tunes? I also enjoyed the playfulness of Job Simulator, and even more so, I delighted in watching my 6- and 9-year-old daughters lose themselves completely in the convenience store level of the game. Richie's plank experience sounded more intriguing, I'd say, than it actually was. It's essentially a walk the plank above a cityscape experience that I expected to be a bit more convincing. It's definitely overpriced, so take from that what you will. But I absolutely lost myself in Racket Fury Table Tennis VR. Now, I'm a lifelong table tennis fan. I don't have a table at home, of course. This game feels real. The physics, the fact that you can challenge real players across the world. I literally spent hours playing what felt like real-life ping pong against people I didn't know, and I worked up a sweat doing it. In all cases, the inside-out tracking, the controllers, the freedom of movement, it all combines to create a VR experience that has me jonesing for more. Now, I definitely have a rosy outlook on the potential of VR. I love what it promises, but I'm also used to being let down for a number of practical reasons. With the Quest, I only have a few main gripes. First, that the comfort of the headset wasn't absolutely perfect like I talked about. And second, that the short battery life can be a real drag, especially when you're lost in another world and you don't want that interruption. But you can plug it in to charge while you play. That's a solid solution. You can even pick up an external battery pack to plug it in, and that'll keep it chugging with no tether. But I long for the day when this kind of hardware can be pushed even further out of the box. So, can you tell I'm smitten? This has been a fun review to prepare for, and I'm sad to let it go. The Oculus Quest is, in my opinion, the VR platform to get if what you want is something that is instantly palatable, easy to set up, and thoroughly enjoyable. With a wider content library coming, things will only get better.